Hello, I am going to give you a tour of a separate database. This one is called AcademicOneFile. So we're going to start off from lasc.edu. Then I'm going to click on Services and Support. From there, I'm going to click on Library. I'm going to scroll down, and on the left side, I'm going to click on A to C List of Library Databases. From there, I'm going to click on the link AcademicOneFile. Because I have already authenticated by entering student ID number and my library PIN, I am able to access it right away. This one looks a little different from Academic Search Complete, but it basically functions the same way. Like with any database, first look at the top menu just to see what options you have, different things that are helpful, tools, etc. Look on this side. You could also browse by discipline, something that you cannot do in the other database. If you need to find a topic, you could click here where it says go to topic finder, and you click on that link. And from there, you could browse different keywords and search and maybe help you find a topic. I'm going to go back to the page because we already have our topics. And we have additional guides on how to use this database. It's down here at the bottom. The help button is towards the very, very bottom of the page. So what you have to do whenever you access some of these databases is do not be intimidated by them. Definitely, it's very busy on the page. Some look different. Some have their help button up towards the top. Others have it at the bottom, etc. So just take some time, take a few seconds, and go over the interface. Make sure that you know where all the different tools are, and then you can start your research. Similar to how you would use Academic Search Complete, you would enter your search terms here. And again, do not use natural language in which you would type in a full sentence or a full question. You're going to stick to the keyword search. I'm going to stay with the same ones: violent, video, games. And notice that this also gives me my set of suggestions. So I could pick from here if anything is applicable, or I can add my Boolean term, which is and then I'm going to add maybe teenagers, or except violent video games and adolescents, or violent video games and children, depending on my topic. So again, you would do the same thing. You could try different keywords, try synonyms, related terms, then you'll get your search results. And again, let's take some time just to see where everything is. The other database that we just looked at, which is Academic Search Complete, looks completely different. Their options are located in different places of the page, but they're all still there. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the top. Nothing new there, but let's look here. Showing results for, and it tells me academic journals, 6,127 results. Then I could look, if I just want to look at magazines, I can click on magazines, and this one's 4,764 magazines. Or if I want book chapters or news from different newspapers, or if I want videos, I can click on any of these and it'll give me different results divided by different types of sources, similar to what we talked about in Unit 2, where we talked about different types of sources. So here, this database is arranging my results first by type of source. But let's just stick with academic journals. Now, from there, I could filter or narrow down the 6,000 to something more relevant, and I could go on the right side of the page where it says filter your results. Notice the other database in EBSCO, the filtering your results was on the left side. So this one is on the opposite side of the page. So I could narrow it down maybe by publication date, and I can put in, oh, I want the last 5 years, or I just want the last 10 years. Whatever I want to do, I can change it here. Or if I don't want to do publication date, I can click on subjects, and then from here I can pick. So from 6,127 academic journals, maybe I just want something that is focused on maybe just youth or childhood obesity, or maybe, I don't know, children or medical research or social networks or sedentary or parenting. So these are different ways in which the 6,000 results that are on this side of the page can be narrowed down or more focused into something more specific. Or I could go to maybe document type. So here again, similar to what we talked about in Unit 2, the different types of publication, whether it's just an article or a report or, book review. No, not for this, not for most research assignments. You will not do that. Maybe I want a clinical report. If I was doing something with literature, a poet or a poem or a short story or a novel, maybe I could select critical essay. If I'm doing something in which I just want just a case study, this will just show me just specific case studies. Or other things that you may need. So you may not need these types of stuff for this assignment, but I do want you to know that there is an option to narrow it down here as well. There was the same similar option in EBSCO as well. It's just located on a different page. I could also do publication type. So this tells me the titles of either the magazines or the newspapers. In this case, it's focusing just on the titles of the journals. So if you know that you just want a particular journal, like Journal of Adolescent and Adult Literacy, because you just love that journal, or your professor loves that journal, then you could just narrow it down just to articles published in that particular journal that are about violent video games and teenagers. But most people don't research that way. Sometimes that it comes in handy, but most of what you're going to be doing is you don't have to narrow it down this way. You could also search within this particular one. It has the full text documents checked by default. So then that means all of these articles are going to include the full text of the article. If your professor or what you're looking for is just peer-reviewed journals and you don't want any others, the only kind of academic journals that you want are just the peer-reviewed, then you can just check that box, and from 6,000 something, now it's 5,000. So then that means that about 1,000 of the academic journal articles that were not peer-reviewed got thrown out the window, and now I'm left with 5,000. And so again, an academic journal could include peer-reviewed publications, but it could also include other types of articles in them. So just because something, being an academic journal doesn't mean that it's also peer-reviewed. So this right here tells me, the articles. I could sort them here. Right now, it is sorting by relevance. So that means that similar to the other database, the keywords are assigned weight, and they're ranked by how often do those keywords appear in the title or as a subject, or how often does it appear within the full text. And it's pretty good. It's getting better. These databases are getting better every year. But I could also sort them by either I want to see the oldest or the newest first, depending on what you want to see. I would just leave it at relevance for now. And there's still a lot to search for. So I could do search within. Let me add in here parenting, because there's still a lot of articles. All right, so then this tells me everything that I'm doing, right? It's violent video games and teenagers. And then now I added the word parenting. So then that lowers it down to 523. Then I could continue adding additional keywords or search or change my search strategy. But let's just start off with what we have here. So from the results list, this gives me the title of the article is right here. Then it gives me the authors. Then this tells me which publication it came out of, or where this article was published in. Then it gives me the volume and the issue, and it already tells me it's peer-reviewed. It tells me the date and how long it is, and what kind of source it is. This one is an article. And this gives you a quick little preview of what this article is about to help you determine if you want to spend some time reading it or not. So this one, I don't know, this could be a good one. Treatment, systematic. Look at this one. This one might be a good one. Parental mediation of children's internet use. If my research was going down this way, then I say, this one might be good. There's 2008. That may or may not necessarily mean that it's relevant. Maybe it might still have some good information in it. Okay, let's look at this one. Oh, this one might also look good. Callous on emotional traits and moral disengagement underpin disruptive behavior. That might be moral or immoral behavior. That might be also interesting. Looks like here's it again. Oh, okay, this might be interesting too. This is from 2018, internet abuse and attachment to parents and peers. So if I was going to change my research question to something based on something more interesting that I found or other articles, I could do that too, because that's also part of the research process. So let's go ahead and click on that one. So then here's the whole article. Again, here's the full title of the article. It gives me the authors, the date, where the article was published, what kind it is. It's 8,000 words, and it gives me the DOI. So this is a code that is given to a lot of scholarly articles to help researchers keep track and find these types of scholarly articles when it comes to research. So then here we start off with the abstract, a quick synopsis of what this article is about, and the abstract is usually written by the authors of the article. And I like how this particular source highlights the keywords that I used in red. And then again, here's the introduction and the full article and the different categories. Let's see, scroll down some more. Nice charts, the discussion, scroll down, and of course, then the references. All the references are listed here. Then, of course, review where the references are. Look at the dates of the references to see if this is still a good source for your research project. And let's just say we spend some time here, we like it, I'm going to quote from it. This one doesn't have page numbers that I will be able to put if I am paraphrasing or a direct quote. So if you're doing your research project in MLA, then if a source doesn't have a page number, it just doesn't have a page number. So then you will just use the author's last name. If you're doing APA style, again, if the source doesn't have a page number, then you just don't use a page number. But sometimes the professor wants you to put in maybe paragraph and then the number of the paragraph or section, etc. So for that, you would either consult the APA style manual or ask your professor what their preferences are. So let's just say that this is a fantastic article. This is what I want. How do I get it? So what I can do is, here's the citation tool. It gives me MLA style or APA style. And I would just copy and paste and put it in my annotated bibliography, whether it's Word or if it's Google Docs or Word Online, etc. So I would copy it. And for my class, you can just copy and you can use this. And if there are any major errors, then I will tell you how to fix them. And I will show you how and what to look for. Next week, we're going to talk about, in more detail, citations and in-text and all of that good stuff. So for right now, all you're doing is just focusing on the research, explore many different databases, look at many different types of articles and explore the content from those articles and select your favorite 4. The same thing, for your ebooks. So based on your assignment, just keep track of the different sources that you find. So you just click on copy, and then I would paste it into my document. Notice that some citation tools are better than others. This particular database doesn't have the 7th edition. Last October, the APA came out with a newer version, and some faculty members have moved on to the 7th edition, and others are still using the 6th edition. So for that, you would just ask your professor. There's not that much difference between the 6th and the 7th edition when it comes to the citations. However, just always double check, because if the database tool that you're using only gives you inside the 6th edition, then use some of the tools that we're going to show you next week, or you can always contact the librarians and they can help you to make sure that it's correct. So this is a very basic overview of how to use Academic Search Complete. One other thing that I want to show you is the Send To. You click on that button, you can either send it directly to your Google Drive or to OneDrive, or you can just email it to yourself. put in your email address. You have to again put your email address again and type in a quick message for you. And that was how you search it, the different tools that you can use. Let me point out a few other things. This one, you can translate the article, and you could also have it read to you. So these are helpful features. I know that I use that sometimes when I encounter a word, a technical word that I am not familiar with, since English is my second language. This really helps me out as well. So then if I wanted to go back to my results list, I can click again on results. Then I can go back to all the different articles that I can explore. If I did want to stay with it, I think I narrowed it down and I went a different rabbit hole. So what I'm going to do is go back to the search and let's do violent video games and teenagers and aggression, or I could do or children or aggression, depending on what I'm researching. And then from there I could do under subjects, and then again try to narrow it down to, well, maybe United States. Maybe I don't care about what's happening in other parts of the world. There we go. This one might be good. Crime law, looking for proof of causal connection between violent video games. And I could look to see, this one's from 2007, but I would look to see, okay, what other things I can find, because this may or may not be outdated. So you would just have to make that determination based on the different search results that you see, and just find something that is fairly current, as long as the information is not actually outdated in the content. Then it may not necessarily be out of date, but you would always check with your instructor. They may not allow something that might be 5 or 10 years old from the current date. So always double check with your professor when it comes to that. So again, just have fun with AcademicOneFile. This is just another database that among many that we have. This one is similar to Academic Search Complete because they're both multidisciplinary. That means it covers subjects on all kinds of subjects, and it has a variety of different types of articles or types of sources within this one particular database. So again, let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you next time.